Okay, now we're recording. We talked about having a call a little bit like halfway through the month to do a training if we want to do a training, or talk about like what we like if there's anything going on. And so I thought, why not ask all of you what you want for this training? And we have a nice long list of what everybody wanted. And so we will jump right into that. So one of the things someone asked was product information. And I think that's a really great thing to always remember because, I've been doing this now 3 years almost, and I tend to forget that, like, oh, wow, we continually have new people on this team that need to learn about the products too. Because it's become just such a second nature for some of us that have been doing this for a long time. And so I was trying to think about what product might be a good one to talk about. And actually, I kind of want to pinpoint and talk a tiny bit about the 3-day trial packs and what's in them and why and how you could use these and when it comes to product information. And so for the 3-day trial packs, there's 4 products. What I have found so far is it's really easy to have anybody try this specific combination. The only person really that would have a hard time taking this and they would just have to stop Metaburn would be somebody that's nursing or pregnant, because you can't take Metaburn. But it's still such a great deal to even get the other products. And so you're getting Plexus Slim Hunger Control, which is okay to take pregnant and nursing. It's not going to make you stop eating. We still have control over what we eat. And so usually what I tell people that are pregnant and nursing is just to make sure you're increasing. I can't even read the rest, but I have a feeling. Yep. I will never forget when Adam started taking Metaburn. Whitney could not take it because she was pregnant and now she's nursing. But I'll never forget the day she was like, I just came home and he like is organizing the closets and like doing all this cleaning. Like, yeah, give it to your husband. But it's still such a great deal because you're getting 3 meals, 3 slim, 3 active, and then the Metaburn as well. And so going through just a little bit of who could take these products, really anybody. I have had people jump on that are working on their anxiety and depression. I have people that are trying to lose weight. I have some people that honestly have been wanting to try the products and they can't afford them. And so this is such a great price point for people. And here's my thought process with this is even if they try them this next week and they still can't afford them till after Christmas, that's okay. Like this gives them a taste of it. Then they go through the holidays and they might realize after Thanksgiving and Christmas, they ate too much sugar and they feel crummy. And January is one of our biggest months. January, February are our biggest months in Plexus. And so, and then it spirals. It's like January to really August are our largest, fastest months in Plexus. And so getting it in the hands of people right now is super important. So Slim, it helps my blood sugar. I had hypoglycemia. It's going to help blood pressure. It's going to help with heart rate. Hi, Tina. It's going, Slim, everyone should and needs to be on Slim. That is my personal opinion. Active, for the 3 days, I truly recommend that they take it the way that we're supposed to take it. And I say this because you're going to help them start feeling good really quickly. I've said this before that my afternoon active and Metaburn is my happy pill. It makes me feel literally happy. Like we were driving home from the mountains today and I took my Metaburn and I made it was actually Hunger Control and active together. And I was like jabbering the whole way home. And by the time we got home, Nick was like about to fall asleep. I'm like, it's your fault because you didn't take the products. And so Slim, that's an easy one. Active, you're going to love it for inflammation. I ran out of Ease last week and I still had active. And one thing I found was I was starting to have pain for my ovulation again, because that's what happens with endometriosis. And I one day took an active and it started to take away the pain almost within an hour. And so I was really blown away and shocked by how much active was actually helping with inflammation. It's going to help with energy. It's going to help with recovery. It's going to help with blood circulation. It helps your body start circulating a lot better. Pain, it's going to help with pain. And then Metaburn, of course, I put a post up about it today talking about mood and depression. And I already said this a little bit earlier, but my thought process behind that was, number one, a lot of my market is in Ohio, and it's gray and dreary, and it's starting to get to be that way all the time right now. And so seasonal depression, there's a lot of people just now starting to walk into that, and it comes and it stays until about March. And so there's a reason, not only because it is true, the story is true, it helps me tremendously, but my market was, I mean, that's what my market needed. And so knowing the people you're talking to is really smart. But again, we're doing the challenge next week. And so of course I'm going to talk about a product that is what is in the 4-pack. And then lean, I'm telling you guys, like, I don't know what it is right now, but I'm addicted to vanilla lean. Like, I crave it in the mornings more than I ever wanted coffee. Like, and what I'm finding is even on the days that I don't, like before lean came out, I had to start my morning with Slim. My blood sugar needed the Slim, or it would spike and drop really quickly. I get lightheaded. One thing I've noticed, I wake up and I want lean instead of Slim right away. And so I've been drinking lean first, and it actually satisfies my hunger. And I haven't been drinking my Slim until about 10 or 11, and I still feel incredible. So a lot of it also is like taking out the crappy breakfasts that we eat. It fills me up better than a protein bar does. But then of course I put my collagen in it too. And that's just like all the double, triple things at once. But that was kind of just my brief overview of the 4 that are in the trial pack. I'm truly getting it in the hands of as many people as I can, because there's so many good things in there. And so say they try these 4 packs, say they don't like the lean, they can still do Slim and Metaburn and Active. Or say they don't like the Metaburn, they can still do Slim, Active, and Ease. Like, it has a little bit from so many different welcome packs that would benefit them, that it's such an easy in to help them. Okay, that is the 4-pack. I'm actually, that's what I want for dessert tonight. I want a lean brownie. That sounds amazing. Really quick. Okay. So those are product information. I really like the idea of talking about a product probably every call, because I forget that there's a lot of us that are new and need to learn the products. Social media tips. Maddie, would you want to talk about this one? Just because you're so great with words and you're so great with telling stories.
Oh gosh. You're so silly. Sure. Okay. So I do want to share one thing just about product information that was helpful for me and is still helpful for me. I'm not super green and have to know all the details, but I am a nurse, and so I like to know the details. And so what I try to do on the products that have like a ton of, like Metaburn, for example, I just try to know like 3 things about it. So like my go-to with Metaburn is that it's a thermogenic, so it can help out like with workout and stuff. It has ginseng in it, which a lot of people take anyway, and it's good for so many things. And then also that it can be like, I just have trained my vernacular with it, that it's not just about weight loss, and Vicki touched on that too. And so I maybe not even 3 facts, but I have like probably 3 speaking points about every product, and then I go from there. So I don't know if that's helpful for you or not, but I know a lot of people don't feel confident about talking about the products. So, okay, social media. Well, you guys probably know that my brand per se is very different from Vicki's, and very different from Whitney's, and very different from everyone's, and that's a good thing. I would say that it's a little bit hard, because what posting looks like for me is different than what it looks like for Vicki, not because of content necessarily, but we're at different points in this business. And so in the challenge this week, we are posting about Plexus every day, which we never do typically unless we are like at convention or at leaders retreat or something like that. And we lovingly say that our pages have Plexus puked all over them. But that's not our standard. And I think one thing our team does a really great job of is we're not really big in like, hey, here's a graphic, cut and paste, here you go, and everybody in the Plexus lands. Like, nobody wants to see that. And especially in the beginning, people are buying you, not Plexus. And so they're trusting you. And so it needs to look like you. The other thing is that, you know, and some challenges before, we have two things stick out about social media. Number one, I'm even convinced probably Beyonce couldn't go diamond with putting one post up and never doing anything else. Like, it is not really actually IPA. It's just not. And if it is, and you sign a zillion people and then, you know, Beyonce has them all quit, then it doesn't matter, right? And so it is not real IPA, and it is, it's basically an open sign that you are open for business. Okay. And so, one kind of hard truth is that posting, again, is not true IPA, but it is something that we need to do consistently. And so I don't know that consistently means every day necessarily, except for right now when we're doing like a all together doing something. But I think that whatever consistency looks like for you, maybe that's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or 3 times a week, or whatever the case is. You know, we talk a lot about pillars and it being a pillar of your brand. And so if it just kind of trails off, then that doesn't, I don't think it shows your spirit of how important and committed you are to Plexus as far as, like, you know, rain or shine, if you want to do it, if you don't want, you know, whatever the case may be, people are they're going to believe you if you're consistent about it, right? I mean, Vicki talks about it, and I'm getting to this point now too, where I have people that have watched me for 2 years now, and they're like, okay, this is not a fly-by thing. Like, she's serious about this. And so, anyway, so I think that consistency is really important. And then something that I'm going through right now that's really hard, and this is straight from Jessica Heffley, is done is better than perfect. And so one of the biggest things I did in my business, and sometimes I will still do it now, and I have to check myself, Maddie, and be like, you can't do this, Maddie. It's not even real IPA. Don't spend an hour on a post, right? So don't spend an hour on a post, because you're going to feel tired, and you're going to feel like, oh, I just worked for an hour, and you didn't. Okay. Working on a post, unfortunately, in this arena, that's not the case. And I've done it. And so I'm just telling you, don't do it. And Vicki's really good about planning her posts out as far as like what the week looks like. I don't think it's good to just like throw whatever up there. So be intentional about it. But remember, it really is an open sign for business. And the other thing that I really love is, it's your supporting actress or actor, right? So in the trenches of messaging or doing face-to-face or whatever that looks like for you, it's supporting that and showing people that this isn't something you do just behind the scenes, that you really truly care and believe in it and all of those things. So I guess major things that I would just say is, number one, consistency. Number two, done is better than perfect. Reminding yourself that it's not truly IPA. It is that open for business. It is that supporting. Some of you are in the point of your business though, where when you do post, people come to you, and y'all, that is a gift. It is a gift if this is day 1, or it is a gift if day 60. I think anyone in Plexus would tell you that that is a gift. And so if that is your situation, girlfriend, post. I mean, take advantage of the gift. Because that will probably not forever be the story. So I don't know, anything else specifically you guys looking for tonight?
One thing that I was thinking, and this is really, really back to the basics, 1 to 2 posts a day are pretty much standard. I would say I honestly most of the time stick to 1, unless like we have a big family thing we've done, and like I want to share a picture of like going and cutting down our Christmas tree we're going to do in a couple weeks, or like, you know, stuff like that. Or if I realize there's not a lot of movement on, and I will say like Instagram and Facebook is very different for me, but in the Facebook world, if I'm noticing there's not a lot of movement, I'll do an engagement post that evening if my morning one, like for some reason. And here's the thing, if my evening one gets a lot of people posting on it, sometimes it does like then pop up my other one later on in their feed. And so it's just a matter, I mean, really what it comes down to is a matter of knowing your audience and knowing the people you're talking to. Like if what you're posting is getting to be too much, then lay back for a second and post something else to like get their attention again. And something that Abby said one time to me, Abby Kappa, our diamond, that really just has stuck with me is, you're constantly telling a story and you need to give people a reason to keep coming back to listen for more. Now I will say, like, for me personally, I'm constantly doing projects in my house. Like, that's one of my newer things. And so people are constantly coming back to know more, or to see more, to see what I'm doing next. But I also talk about my infertility, and we're on a new journey with all of that right now. And so that's another piece of my story that I'm sharing in the midst of this. And so there's just going to be pieces that you're sharing, and people want to keep watching and want to keep coming back. And so that's that's what Abby calls it, the art of storytelling, really, is giving them a reason to want to hear more. Is there anything else, Maddie or Whitney, what you think? As far as posting goes, I've been trialing posting different things on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, I would say this might be, I don't know if this is obvious or not, but like when we say, or like when Vicki says, like, okay, we're going to post, for me, that right now means Facebook every day, because I am not recruiting off of Instagram yet. So it means on Facebook once, and in my stories once. So I don't know, that might be a little bit confusing sometimes. Like, what is posting once a day mean? That's how I interpret it, but you may want to add more to that.
No, yeah, we should do a Facebook Instagram training, just a whole call on that, because that could take literally the whole call. But I will say this, I post on Facebook probably once a day, every day at some point. I took a little bit of a break over the weekend, but I still ended up posting when I told myself I was going to take a break, because again, that's how I even got started with Plexus, is I was just a social sharer. That's just who I am. And that is also my brand, because that's just who I've always been. And so it makes sense for me. Instagram, I try to post 4 times minimum a week. And I say that because I stopped doing that, and I noticed my profile feed views went majorly down by like 300. So again, this gets confusing, but I will say I'm on my stories every single day on Instagram. Yes, we will, maybe our next team call will be like all social media.
Last thing about posting, I would say, guys, if I had nothing or whatever, and I just took a picture with my whatever and did, like, I have a Plexus shirt on right now. Okay, that counts. You don't have to say a word about Plexus. We did an IPA thing on this a few weeks ago, almost like a Where's Waldo type thing. Maybe you have a Plexus hat on, or maybe there's Plexus in the background. Like, that counts. It doesn't have to be like a long novel of Maddie words.
Those words are pretty captivating, though. Okay. One of the biggest requested things, and if you're listening to the recording, a lot of you asked for this: balancing your business and time blocking. Well, really, it was just balancing your business, and I put in there time blocking, because this is an area where I have failed many, 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 many times. And I know I shared with some of you over the weekend a little bit of my heart on this. But I tend to be a workaholic. I obsess, I control, I like things to go well, I like things to be running smoothly. And so what that means is I tend to not unplug, or I tend to try to keep control of things by working all the time. And I realized that was not healthy for anyone, myself, my family, my friends, any of you. Like, that's not a healthy thing, because it's not reality, and that's not realistic with this business at all long term. But there's also the other pendulum of you either work a lot or you end up just shutting all the way off. Like, that is how my pendulum swung. I was either all in 24/7 or I just stepped away. And my stepping away is probably different than some people's. I never actually like completely stepped away out of my business. That's just, it's too big of a blessing in my life now. Like, it is my income. It replaced over my teaching salary. Like, this has become my work. But I think what the hard thing is, there's some of us that work full-time jobs, and there's some of us that are home with babies, and it is hard to dedicate time to this business. And at our training last week, and 3 of you are on here that were there, Ashley Kinsel said at one point, she said, when you're only working nooks and crannies, you end up working your whole life. Like, you never stop. You work all day, every day. You never get a break. And your breaks are so short that it doesn't feel like a true break, like with your family or whatever that may be. And so I've really been trying to practice this. And it's so interesting that we're talking about this, because right before we got on here, I was watching the top earner in Monet stories, and she actually was talking about what her work week looks like. Mind you, she is a top earner, earning $1 billion probably at this point. She's literally the number, like a Celeste Quinn of Plexus. And she still works her business Monday through Friday, 9 to 1. Now she gets up, she gets her kids to school, she works 9 to 1. She said on there, she takes a nap every single day from 1 to 2. And then her kids come home and she's a mom all evening. And then she even gets on calls after her kiddos go to sleep to just connect with her team. And I thought that spoke volumes, because she's making $1 billion. Like, why does she still feel the need to work? But I also believe, like, it's a very good steward of her time. And now I'm sure she, takes breaks and all of that. But what that told me was, if I want to be successful in this business, I have to cut out a time in my day to work this business, even if it's 30 minutes, undivided, to doing this. And Jennifer and I were talking actually before we got on this call, and she was like, what's your day look like? And that's another thing that Ashley talked about at our training last week, because this is something she taught me probably 5 months ago. Because I was at this place in my business where, I was working on team pages and leading things and planning and making calendars, and none of that is really IPA. None of that is really working my business. And she was like, Vicki, when you wake up in the morning, your number one priority needs to be your posting and engagement, because even though that's not IPA, but like for some people it is, because when you have she has a high influence. She said on the stage that it does not require her to send out messages, because that's just her. She led worship at a very big church. Like, she had influence of lots of people, but she still sends messages, because she's like, there are 90% of her team doesn't have that influence, and they need to send messages, and she's going to be in it with her team. And I thought that was really cool to hear from her, because that just goes to show that, like, she's just an amazing leader. But anyway, what she said is your personal business should always come first. And so whether that means engaging on social media and sending messages, like, I was working on this for myself today, and I'm like, you know what, since we're posting about Plexus every day, if I get one person every single day that comments or likes it and is not on Plexus yet, that's how I'm starting my morning, is sending them a message. First thing in the morning, like, thank you so much for supporting my business. It means a lot to me. I said that to somebody the other day, and she already is on Plexus, and I didn't know that. But time blocking is going to bring you the most freedom. And one of the hardest parts of this is actually sticking to it. Because I make plans for myself all the time, but I don't stick to them, because I'm like, oh, well, this person needs this, and this person needs this. And timing is perfect, and I need to jump in and do this right when they don't, or right when they need it. But here's the thing, when you stick to your plan of your time blocking, you will receive the most freedom. And we're all in here for freedom, whether that be finances or time or health. Like, we're all in here for some type of freedom. But if you're doing this business, obviously you're doing it for the income, and that's great. That's one of the purposes of working this business. But your income is not going to grow if you're not putting time aside for this business. And so as far as like time blocking and all of that, if you can give your business 30 minutes to an hour a day, 30 minutes to an hour, and even if it's like 2 separate 30 minutes, like before you go to work or on your lunch break or after the kids go to bed, you'll be surprised what you can get done in 30 minutes. When I sit down, I'm to the point where I'm like, I want like 5 hours by myself just to work this business because I love it. Like someone said today, like, oh, someone literally commented on my stories and was like, working fills your cup. I'm like, yes, it does, because I love this and I love helping people and I love my team. And what that made me realize is there's a lot of people that are doing jobs that are not filling their cup. And so that means I have a lot more work to do to help them find a job that fills their cup. So anyway, Maddie, Whitney, does anybody have anything else to say as far as like balancing this business and time blocking and like how that's given you freedom or anything else? And it's totally fine if you don't.
I was waiting on Whitney. I would just say you don't find balance, you create it, and it's an ongoing thing. And Vicki and I are at very different points because I still work a very full-time job, and so it's and most of us do, and so it's you know, it's a different phases of hard. It's hard all the way around, no matter how you spin it. When I was at home with my babies, it was the hardest job of my life too. So it's just, you know, it's just a mindset thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only thing, sorry, I'm losing my voice, but the only thing I would say is even though, because I did do this business for 2 years before I left my full-time role, I think that it's harder to time block now, which sounds odd, but when I was working over 40 hours a week and I had 2 kids already, like being intentional about my time was easier because I had no choice. And so I think even though it sometimes, like, I feel like I didn't have a brain, like I was running all the time and I was stressed out all the time. Like I wasn't balancing things well. I was sometimes more productive during the day because of just having to fit it in out of necessity. So anyway, I think Abby always says like the most productive people are the busiest. And I think that's actually true.
Yep. I started when I was working full time as well, and I got so much more done when I was working. And I think it's just because, again, I managed my time better. Okay, last thing, and I won't keep you guys much longer. Planning your week. This is something that I've become a little, just recently, in the last couple of weeks, a little bit more passionate about, and it's made my week so much smoother. Is planning your week to be more successful and to take more, again, like with this time blocking and really stepping away and really being present with my people, because like this was Nick's week off. We get 1 week a month as a family. And it's really precious time because we don't get anything else like at all. And so a couple of things I wanted to give you, a couple apps to walk away with that might help you. Whitney uses this too, I think, is the app called Grid. And the app is really good for planning your Instagram posts. I use that more so because for Facebook, I kind of just post as I go. But on Sunday night, I will write out the whole week of posts with hashtags, with comment, like all the things that I need on there. And so that when it comes time, like all I need to do is a little bit of engagement on Instagram and post it, and then I'm done. Stories I kind of do throughout my day. I try to have a few in the morning, a few in the afternoon. But and I think this kind of goes along with time blocking, the whole planning for your week and time blocking. It all goes together because, you know, when I'm more prepared on Sunday night for my week, I'm able to time block better because I know that is the only time I have to do this. And when I force myself to not be, like, Nick goes back to work on Wednesday, which means my evenings are going to be solo me again. I can't be on my phone with Mia. Like, that is when she's losing her mind and throwing the biggest fits. And so I just can't do it. And so that's forced me to get more serious with my time blocking. But as far as planning, even if it's just planning a post and planning 2 messages a day, that will truly make your life so much easier. If somebody responds back, you don't have to respond right away. If you don't have time, if you want to go to bed, don't respond. Wait till the next day. And even if it takes you 2 days, like, it's okay to make people wait. because if they truly want this, they will be okay in a couple of days too. Now, when I started this business, I was all, I need to message everybody right when they message me and be right, you know, all that. There is a sense of urgency as well. But if it's taking you away from your life, like that is not time freedom, and that is not what the gift of this business does for you. And so, I mean, one of my thing is when I sit in bed at night and before I doze off, I sit there and respond to a few messages. And so that's kind of my thing when it comes to planning. Like planning truly gives me more freedom throughout my week. And so I think I'm going to stop there. Does anybody have any questions before we end this and we all go be with our people, our families, or if this is your time blocking time to work, go work and kill it. Also, congrats to Tina for having a event tomorrow night that she's going to do amazing at. I'm just really proud of you.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm nervous, as usual.
It will be so good. It will be so good. And then
if you guys have, I see Laura and Jen on here. Hi, guys. If you guys want to invite people, I mean, it's tomorrow. I'm still inviting people as we speak. It's kind of an easy way to like piggyback on just, you know, getting your people set up, and you don't have to do any work.
Yeah.
You just piggyback right on. So.
If you guys don't know Tina, she's like the nicest person in the world. So this is Tina.
Basically.
Some days. Most days. I don't know.
Okay. Go be with your people. I love you guys a lot. I'm so glad to see your faces tonight. Bye.